It's the first day. Here we go. This week, I want to talk about the first days of school, the first week of school, everything that we're doing leading to our students coming in, which is a very, very exciting time. So I'll take you on a quick tour of my classroom, talk about why I've situated things the way that I have and what I would recommend for you, especially if you're a first year teacher, because it's definitely different being on the other side. This is year number 7 for me, and I won't say that I have teacher fatigue. I'm definitely not tired of being in my classroom. I love my students, but it's different being on the other side of being new. And so having had that experience, there are definitely some things that I would do differently, and I'd like to share that with you today. So here we go. The most important thing in your classroom in terms of management is the flow of the seating arrangement. They need to be in assigned seats, which should come up within the first couple weeks after you get to know them. And I group my kids in spaces of 6, and I put them in what I call pods. Now, each pod is in like that U shape, and I like the U shape because it makes a space for me right in the middle in case I want to collaborate with students more independently. There's adequate walking space between each of the pods, and toward the back of the room, I have 2 additional overflow seats for any guest students. Another important thing to get your class on the right foot is having something they can start working on right away. So I have my focus, a small activity already posted for the first 5 to 10 minutes of class. Homework is on this right-hand side of the board, and it's color-coded so each class knows what pertains to them. And on the other side of the board, I have objectives, things that we will be learning and targeting, written in I can statements. I can identify, blah, 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 so that the child can identify with what they need to learn. Finally with our kids for the first day, and it's been going really well so far. Of course, when you're in that first few days, you're kind of in that grace period or that honeymoon phase, as they say, with your kids. You can kind of get glimpses of quirky personalities, ones that maybe you're going to have to work a little bit harder at redirecting or reining in every now and then. But across the board, I'm really looking forward to this group so far. I still got 3 other class periods to get through today before the end of the day, but it's been really good. Some things that you should definitely consider doing if it's not already in your teacher toolbox leading up to the first day starts at home. I think in order to have a really good day wherever you work, not just in teaching, there are things that need to happen at home that sort of pave the way to making you have a productive day, right? So the first thing is, and I say this drinking my coffee, but the first thing is have a morning routine in place. What is your morning routine right now? What are the rituals and things that you do in the morning to get you primed and ready for the day? And if you don't have one, I would suggest finding a cheap notepad or a notebook somewhere that you can write down things that you would like to do, 2 or 3 things that you'd like to do each morning from this point forward that you think would get you primed and ready for your day. One of the first things that you should do the night before going into your classroom with students is lay out your clothes. Look in your wardrobe, pick out and piece together what outfit you want to wear so that that's something that's already done for the beginning of the class, for the beginning of the school day, and you don't have to think about it in the morning and add to your morning chaos. You know what I mean? So I picked out my outfit. I knew what I was gonna wear. I tend to wear a dress and be a little more formal on the first day. I think it really just depends on your school culture, will determine much of what you wear in your classroom. But I have my outfit. The next thing that I do in the morning, not every morning, but most mornings out of the week, is I like to have 30 minutes to an hour to work out. I highly recommend sweating, doing some sort of physical activity in the morning, because it primes your brain to grow more synapses and to awaken you, so that you can be in a productive state as you go through the rest of your day. If you're not a morning person, try to add regular exercise into your repertoire. The research is all there. It's definitely going to add value to your life. Coming into an inner city middle school environment, I think one of the separating factors is how diverse the population tends to be. And even with their diversity, a lot of them come from the same family backgrounds, the same socioeconomic statuses, the same familial histories, even the same traumas. So we have to be prepared as educators to be familiar with and to appropriately respond to whatever these kids may be bringing into the classroom on that first day. As I've said, so far everybody's been pretty mellow and really chilled out, and very friendly, very agreeable, ready to do their assignments. But that's just the first day. That doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the way it is going forward, right? So in an inner city middle school, it's super important for you as the educator to bring your very best self front and center. So it's taking care of yourself outside of here, but also having your classroom situated and ready in such a way that these kids can kind of leave their trauma at the door. Something else that I would challenge you to do this year, but it's particularly useful with being with my inner city kiddos, is I like to have a room where immediately as my kids are coming in, they get a sense of the vibe. It's like a vibe check, right? They hear music, they have a focus activity already waiting on them. Maybe the lights are a little bit dim, or for you the lights are completely on and the mini blinds are open. I like to have a little bit of mood music going depending on what we're going to be learning and depending what my musical preferences are, so that they know that in that room there's a certain flow and there's a certain mental state that I want them to be in order to be productive, or a certain emotional state, a certain physiological state that I want them to be in each time they interact with me. As we're transitioning through the day, going from class to class, you may already know teachers don't have a whole lot of bounce back time, a lot of recovery time to get things prepared and get one set of kids out the door when another set of kids are coming in. So if that's you, I would just recommend really managing your time, reserving the last 5 to 10 minutes of class time to start cleaning up with the existing kids in the classroom, enlisting some of their help to clean things up, to wrap things up. That promotes a lot of buy-in with your students, as well as establishes a firm routine, but then also it's helpful to you to prepare for the next class period. By Thursday, you definitely start to feel it a little bit. You're really ready for Friday to just get here, ready to be done with the week, wrap it up and get on with your weekend. So it's the same thing. Everything that you're going to do in your morning activities, it helps to stay after school the day before, to lay all of that out, have your game plan put in place for what you want your morning and the rest of the day to look like, so that when you start to feel tired at that halfway mark in the week, in that latter part of the week, the vehicle just kind of starts to drive itself. You know what I mean? Lay out everything the day before, so that when kids are coming in and you're starting to really get antsy about finishing up the week, the kids can just dig right in. By now, it's day day 4 or day 3 or day 4, depending on when your school system starts their first school day. For us, Thursday would be day 3 because the kids came back on Tuesday. So they're starting to get a sense of the routine and how things are done in my classroom, and that's really what you want. The first week is all about staying super, super tight with your routines and procedures, staying very, very consistent so that they start to get a sense of predictability with your class. So yeah, it's Thursday. Just about ready to be done, starting to have to dig deep, but this is where it's an important day, day 3, because they start to be able to self-monitor and self-regulate a little bit, and they get a sense of what we're doing every single day. So the day is over. Day 4 or day 3 is complete, and I'm getting ready to leave. I've got their focus set for tomorrow, and tomorrow is Friday, so the first week of school will be done. I think one of the easiest things that we can do as teachers is it's not just about creating predictable, consistent environments for our students to learn best. It's creating predictable, consistent habits for yourself, because that makes your job much, much easier when you lay out the groundwork for yourself ahead of time instead of flying by the seat of your pants once you get into the school day. So my best thing that I could really offer you, especially starting out in the beginning of the school year, is to get in the habit of laying a few things out every afternoon and having a skeleton of what you want tomorrow to look like, so that if all else fails and you don't come up with anything else, you still have something to fall back on that you know you're supposed to be focusing on with your kids, and it makes the day so much easier. So that's it for day 3. It is Thursday. I'm starting to feel it and ready to get home. Let's go.